green light is on.
Ready to go?
Mary's on.
Uh-huh.
Mary's on, mine is not. I'll share.
Okay, good. Lynn, give me the thumbs up when you're ready for me.
I like the industrial stance.
Yeah.
Musician, it's like good. So
The meeting of the Jefferson County Water Advisory Committee, June 17th, 2026 meeting is called to order. Item number 2 is determination of members' presence and existence of quorum. We have a quorum. Item number 3 is public comment period. Is there someone in the room that would like to make?
Back to number 2 real quick, and I don't know if it makes.
Oh,
any
we want
difference,
to
but
note who's here?
For the record,
Sure.
Dan is not both in the room and on Zoom, so.
Overachiever.
I know everywhere, but this is the old minutes, which that was, it's the only thing I see there is a. So you strike me from the present on the minutes.
Oh, this isn't minutes. This is just for this meeting. Strike you from Zoom.
Okay, we want to go on to review and approval of minutes, and I believe we have an amendment to the minutes.
Okay, so on the backside of your agenda is the December that I owe you.
I probably mixed it up with everything I got wrong here.
Because I think when Mary, when you and I were sitting down.
Here we
going
go.
over all the agendas for the website, that was the only one we were missing.
Can you say that a little louder?
We were missing the December when we went through all the agendas. or,
Right.
all
Oh, the minutes.
Meeting minutes, You were missing December, so there is a copy of the approved December on the back of the,
Okay,
and then,
we were missing December, so now we're up to speed on, and you've
Right.
signed them.
and I signed it, so now you have a copy for our website.
Okay,
And then moving on to, we have April and May. Why do I have two stapled?
You want to have a copy?
I'll say maybe did I just give you the wrong thing?
Oh.
I had May and May.
yeah, that's
what I have,
May and May.
Well, I guess April's on the printer.
Oh, I've got it. I'm back. Got it. May is May.
Okay,
Yeah, the only change, I wasn't present at,
so,
In the May
okay,
meeting.
so the first, let me see. How this does this. All right, so I already have a correction on that. So let me just say that if you look at the adjournments, the adjournment made by Mary Sell and second by Daniel is the actual May.
okay, this is May.
Yes. And then the
That's fine.
adjournment made by Daniel, motion by Mary is actually April. The one I copied and pasted. is date.
Motion by Daniel, seconded by Mary is April.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm both April and May. I was not present, but I'm listed as present.
Absent barely, absent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please read. Whole business reasons. Read on. We approve these minutes as amended.
Are the minutes for which month?
April and May.
April and May? Thank
And
you.
amendments include what? Just Larry.
Change the date.
The date
on
at the top.
On the proper April to April.
Okay. And then for May to strike me from present, which I wasn't present for May. So that's another
Yes, you
amendment.
and Zoom, yeah, I have you down twice. You're good. Exactly
And
right.
April strikes you from Zoom.
YouTube.
Correct. April strike from Zoom, May strike from present.
Yeah, it struck me from both April and May.
No, copy and paste is great sometimes. Okay. Daniel approved. Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Okay, Margaret, are you ready for a second?
Mhm.
Can I have a second?
Second. Sarah, thank you.
All those in favor of approving the amended minutes for April and May? Please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, all right.
Homework is done.
We'll go right straight into old business. So we have wanted to talk about our upcoming schedule because of Mr. Kozar's scheduling. He will be here in July, so we'll move that down there. So I've talked to Daniel and we moved the questions around a little bit to move up technical question 3. We are, I've circulated, I'm sorry, we don't have a website yet to post it there, print it, a presentation for technical question 2. I've run it through the traps and question 1. But for the next meeting, we're headed to go do a presentation to the county commission in July. And we want to work on at our July meeting, in July, let me get the date right, July 15th, that we approve the presentation for technical question 1 and 2. And then Mark Kozar will be here and we can discuss that. Are there any thoughts about that? How we are rolling through the rest of the schedule?
Yeah, just so you, you all are aware, we're updating our website. So the goal is to have it by the end of August, I think, for a new platform. So just something that we would have, and they're gonna have a landing page for all the boards and commissions, but then we'll have ideally a tab that would have an overview. So we should have a landing page to upload our materials and
Okay.
just so everyone knows.
I'm really looking forward to that
Yeah.
because this is, getting this stuff, sending it by email is, it's not efficient for
Yeah.
everyone's process.
Yeah.
So, but appreciate your patience with it. And Margaret, this is great that you've got these approved because, Eddie has asked me for all the meeting agendas and minutes approved to date. I believe she'll put those up and we'll have our own spot. So I think we can dive in, to technical question 3. Or do you want to look at technical question 2? Because we've gone through technical question 1, we've gone through technical question 2. It's the presentation now that we want to work on those to the county commission in July with the final presentation for all 4 questions and a landing page on the website with our work product in September, October. Do we want to talk about technical question 3 today? I think we had originally had Will Smith interested in technical question 3 and he did not hear from him today. I'm sorry. But we're in good shape on 1 and 2 just to clean it up and make it look very nice.
Yeah, we should dig into question 3. We've got some expertise in the room here.
Yep. Okay,
Yeah, we've approved technical question 1 and 2.
right. I put it together in a somewhat of a format, but I was going to put it in a PowerPoint format as well.
Yeah.
I've circulated it in a narrative, but actually a PowerPoint format that would be easier to digest and visually attractive.
Yeah.
So for the general public and the county commission. Okay, who would like to kick off technical question 3?
No pressure, Margaret.
I know, I was just like, look here. Well, first I want to also say
Yeah.
that now that 1 and 2 are approved, we can now put them in, like I can attach them to our meeting minutes or something.
Okay,
Is that
I'll give
like
you
the
for the
best
next
way to
meeting.
distribute them?
yeah, that's
Okay.
great. Okay.
Okay,
And I can attach them for the meeting minutes and for approval.
okay. Honestly, I thought about that on the way here, like, not in the packets, or is it? I don't know.
So I can give a quick overview of question 3 and then we can dig into, Margaret's expertise here is obviously huge and other people have perspectives on this. So I look forward to this. This is about agricultural large quantity users. And in my mind, and tell me if you think of this a different framework, but in my mind, this is a question of, okay, lay of the land. What's the status of agricultural water use in the county? And then how does that relate to LQUs and other sort of, legal definition? I think that second part is pretty clearly defined in state code, so we can articulate that pretty readily. But it's that first part that your expertise, Margaret, and other people could help us level set a little bit.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess first off, I'm gonna say that most of the dairy farmers are gone. So those
Yeah.
were a lot of your larger quantity users.
Yeah.
Then after, beyond that, I mean, you're looking at probably orchards and or maybe, anybody that does irrigation. And then again, most of our crop planters, I think there are one or two irrigation wells in the southern part or Cabletown area, but everybody else relies on Mother Nature and groundwater.
So hay production, pasture, and they think about the right categories: hay production, pasturing, cattle production, horse farms. Then you got your corn, soybean,
All
wheat.
grain, right?
Okay. And then I guess the orchards and the vineyards would be another bucket, another category.
Correct.
So help me understand. My impression is that the vast majority of this is not irrigated.
Correct.
Okay. And well, what part is it Cabletown area that has the big irrigation, or where?
Cabletown has, yeah, there's a big irrigation wheel in Cabletown.
Yeah.
I mean, I know years past, and I say years past, I'm not sure how long ago during COVID, maybe they had the wheel out for the hemp. They planted some hemp there and they tried irrigating, but other than that, I think it just sits still. No one uses it.
So would you estimate like over 90% of agricultural production is rainfall dependent, not water extractive?
I'd even go so probably 95%.
Okay.
I mean, there are very, very few folks that irrigate. I mean, I think of one farm in particular, and there may be a couple other smaller ones. Well, I take that back. A couple of the greenhouses, I mean, they're going to do some irrigation, but it's going to be on a very small level because they only have one or two houses.
If I may ask, what is the definition of a large quantity agricultural user?
Okay, that's the second piece of the puzzle. And in terms of state code, this is illuminating, I think. State code, I've got the chapter and verse here. I can provide that, but basically, agricultural users are exempt from the definition of LQUs in West Virginia.
Correct.
There's an opportunity for voluntary reporting, just to like, hey, this is our use. But it seems like it's not, well, for one thing, they're exempt from the LQU mandates. Agricultural farm use is exempt from LQU, period, in West Virginia.
So my perception of it, coming from Texas and Midwest agricultural background, is we have no large quantity. When I hear your large quantity users, I think of large 200 head plus dairies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And feedlots.
yeah.
I mean, there are others, but this is my experience with, is the feedlots and the dairies. I don't know how you would define crop growing as large quantity, but
Again,
my
it's all,
perception is there's nobody here that has.
no, it's all
different-
rainwater. Yeah,
Well, just
Right.
large quantity, you define that by size.
yes.
Whether it's number of head for husbandry or acreage for crop growth.
Well,
So
the
the
state,
racetrack is considered a confined animal feeding operation.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So it's a CAFO there. What I see is when we talk about this, the USDA is very much involved in it. And so is West Virginia Conservation Agency on the drought monitor. It's rainfall, Evo transfer,
NRCS also.
yeah, and NCRS. And so over the course of the past years, Commissioner Leonhardt has released funding through the Conservation Agency for crop producers for hay.
Mhm.
And offset. So, but that's because of the hay producers to support cattle,
Mhm.
horses, swine, pigs
Right.
in our county.
Correct. Yeah, like you said, I don't know if there's any in Jefferson County that really qualifies as a large quantity.
yeah, that's their volume of water, 300,000 gallons of water in a 30-day period is their state standard. So even if you do hit, probably nobody even hits that threshold. But even if they did, it would be a voluntary reporting thing.
The track is in the Chesapeake Bay, so they were very much involved in all that work on the back of it. to do a stormwater management
Hmm.
and stop the runoff of
Runoff
Chesapeake
is
Bay.
Mhm.
Are farms required to develop groundwater protection plans under West Virginia law? I know other industrial developers are, but I'm wondering, are agricultural producers? It seems like it might be a mismatch. I don't,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, some of them have stormwater management, but not everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you do your samples for so many long, you know, and then you can be exempt.
That'd be a question for Eastern Panhandle Conservation District.
Correct.
and then on the question of how things are changing, this is maybe a larger conversation, but I pulled the census county profile. The most recent data, still a little bit dated, is 2022 and the most recent profile. But I think it's illuminating. You know, if you look at the number of farms in Jefferson County in 2022, it's 520 registered farms, and that was down 14% since 2017. So, you know, that's not news to you, Margaret, but that's what we see here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it really is particularly germane for the water management and planning element, but it is a changing landscape, and we see this data from the census.
Yeah.
I think what's good is the NCRS and the West Virginia Conservation Agency are very supportive of farmers turned drought.
Mhm.
Well, that's a great question too. How do you experience? What's the role of spring heads for these producers for cattle, for example? I mean, I've heard anecdotal stories, but what is the value of those spring fed resources?
I mean, if it's a natural water resource for the animal,
Yeah.
you know, versus out of the well and at the barn with the water trough, I mean,
Were you hauling water bucket by bucket during drought conditions before? Do others have to face that?
bucket by bucket or yes, tank by tank. I mean, even
Yeah.
this winter when it was frozen.
Yeah.
You know, water was frozen over the
Yeah.
sources, so yeah, just.
I think we've heard anecdotally, especially on the Rocky Marsh from our friend Colin Stein.
Mhm.
He has two perennial streams, and by definition, they're perennial, that have been drawn down
Mhm.
in that watershed. My take is that, and it's not, there's been some pushback, but the waters of the United States was a real issue for farmers and
Mhm.
exclusion of animals from being in streams or standing in streams.
Right.
You have the,
And fence things up.
yeah, fencing thing off. So, and I think, you know that made it that the water United States, if you have at one point in time, and it's very controversial, I'm not controversial, it's been all over the place, map legally. If you have a perennial stream and it trickles in the winter or trickles in the summer, it's like you need to exclude your livestock. And that was an issue for a lot of the farmers, but I think
That's Chesapeake Bay.
well, it's also water of the United
Yeah,
States.
yeah,
Yeah.
because of Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah. Well, it is nationally though, too, it's federally. I mean, but yep, it is Chesapeake Bay, the exclusion.
I mean, you know.
We got credits for it. You didn't have to, but you got credits, the watershed improvement plans, 1, 2, 3, or 4, the WIP plans.
Mhm.
Since the Chesapeake Bay Memorandum of Understanding, there were West Virginia, which was a leader, got credits for the exclusion and the reduction in the TMDL, total maximum daily load.
So for this first question for number 3 is which agricultural practices in Jefferson County have the heaviest uses of water, right? And we can provide a table with basically the breakdown.
Yeah.
But it's just, I guess the key point in my mind is that it's rainfall dependent and it's spring dependent, and it's not extraction dependent. That's
And transpiring dependent, it's weather dependent.
ET,
too,
yeah,
obviously,
right, sure.
transpiring.
And we're seeing a trend of them going down. So if we have that 14% loss from 2017 to
Mhm.
2022, we could probably assume from 2022 to 2026, maybe 10% loss. So that land that was is trending towards some other type of development, which
Mhm.
won't be likely rainwater dependent.
Correct.
Are there any sod farms in the county that you're aware
Yes,
One sod farm.
of? One sod.
it was farm of the year 2 years ago for Eastern Panhandle. It's New Horizons, it's on Darkay Lane.
Now that's
Wait, or.
Oh, sorry, you don't, that's turf farm.
Days turf farm.
That's a turf
That's
farm.
irrigation dependent.
It is
It
irrigated.
does
It
irrigate,
has to be.
Hmm.
Yes, irrigated.
but again, it's just when he's actually growing it.
Yeah.
So it's not 365 days a year, it's just during season. And again, if we're not getting rain, so. Yeah, just by default, because I see him, I know he irrigates.
Well, yeah.
I see him irrigate too.
So the second question relates to, okay, for these larger, the heaviest agricultural users, like what is their water consumption on a daily basis? That's the second question the county presented to us. And how we respond to that is, it's up to y'all, but it might be, it's just rainfall dependent and spring dependent. I mean, it's sort of, we're not managing it per se in terms of a bucket that we're all pulling from. So,
Right.
but we could provide, I mean, we do know that, there are some standards for orchard size and cattle under cool and hot conditions. I guess we could provide that information because that was the question that was asked. And, there's some guidance there. I would love to make sure this tracks with reality.
Right. Well, and I was gonna say, even, farmers are smarter too. Those that have
Yeah.
the greenhouses are watering in the morning when
Yeah.
it's cooler. So you're not losing, like you said, the transpiration and stuff like that. And everything is seasonal.
I mean, we
Yeah.
could just break it down by farming types and then give some national statistics and then couple that with the amount of farms we have and make an approximate guess. That breakdown, I mean, could we do that?
Yeah, and as long as we're distinguishing clearly that these aren't extractive in the sense
right.
that it's not a
Estimations.
groundwater extraction, but rather a gift from the sky and the springs in our groundwater.
And the recharge rate.
Yeah, that does affect recharge rate for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
The third question I think is redundant with the first. The third question is what types of farming use the most amount of water in Jefferson County? So I feel like we could, it's the, C question one, unless you all think differently, that's how to approach that. And then the last question, if in this section, do state DEP monitoring or other programs distinguish agriculture uses from other uses among LQUs? And so it's West Virginia Code 2226.310
Mhm.
that states large quantity users mean XYZ, excluding farm use, including livestock, poultry, blah, blah, blah. Although farms may voluntarily report withdrawals to assist with the accuracy of the survey. So it's voluntary. And I think so that's very clearly spelled out in state code. That's unambiguous for us.
Yes.
And those are the main sections of this. So Margaret, is there any other bigger picture that you want to make sure is in these responses that we haven't touched on?
I would just like to also note that because of the influx of housing
Mhm.
and the way we have changed the topography has really affected natural water flow
Mm.
of what Mother Nature does. And I'll use my own farm as an example. The subdivision that went in behind me 20 years ago, I had two spring fed ponds. I had to drill a well because they just went dry. The pond, there was no water to run.
Mm.
And, you kind of see that in other locations around the county, South Childs Road, Shirley Road. Many of you travel 51 there at Dark's Curve. There used to be water that laid there and now you've got that housing development back in behind it. So,
I think you're
Yeah.
saying it's affected by impervious surfaces
yes.
And stormwater regs.
And stormwater.
and stormwater regs.
Stormwater regs require that the volume and intensity has to be equal to or less than what this is, which means it can't, which means it's less than.
So answering the question, was kind of to answer it, I feel like we should ask a different question. What impacts these answers? Right? Are there unknowns that we need answers to?
Um, we're on 3. What types of farming use the most amount of water in Jefferson County, and where are the unknowns? I've always thought it was crop production, but I don't know. I have always thought it was crop production uses the most amount of water. What do you think? Or
It's not-
cattle drinking water?
It's not really definable if
Yeah,
it's,
it's not,
if it's, rainfall,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
springs,
right, like I said, I'm not
that's not yeah, that's not.
drawing,
quantified.
I'm not bucketing water to my cornfield. I'm
Right.
not bucketing water to like Christmas trees or,
It's a
'Cause I
germane
am-
question when it comes to irrigation, but not really
right, that's what I'm saying.
natural
Mm.
water.
And so it would be not, it's not applicable, but it wouldn't be not applicable, but what types of farming use the most amount of water and depends on, it depends.
Well, the way I've tried to frame this in my mind is, a table of agricultural use type, then the acreage in Jefferson County, and then I've thought of it as passive water use, in other words, rainfall and evapotranspiration, and then active water use in terms of irrigation and pumping. And that's a small piece. So we can just be very clear about that. I mean, it's still water use, but if you think of it as passive, it's not going to be managed or it could affect though regional recharge rates, which this is an interesting dimension of it, right? But this is one framework. I mean, I could offer this a table that might make sense to y'all. But in active versus passive, to me, is kind of what we're talking about here.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, because you could go around and interview the farmers that are in the county, and like I said, I can't really think of anyone that's really, I think the happy homeowner irrigates their little 4x4 garden more than a farmer does. I'll put it that way.
Yes.
Like, well, I could,
And a golf course.
yes, yes.
Golf courts use, you wouldn't call it agriculture, you would call it recreation. Courses use
The
a
golf
ton
courses,
amount of water.
Yes.
That's a great point to
Those are very
include
good
here I think we should, conceptually, I don't know how it fits into State Code 2226, but from a science perspective, it seems like it's the same deal. It's production of growing
Right.
material using water to do it.
You're gonna have golf course, you're gonna have
Yeah.
sport fields too.
No, that's true.
I heard something about, it's, recreational. I think Locust Hill, there was something cool that was happening there. They're using grave water.
Gray water.
To,
Hmm.
so they're able to kind of reuse, so and I think that was helping. Cause I think this is
Yeah,
all
right there.
secondhand, they are a C-Tub user.
Right.
But I think it's actually helping C-Tub have some kind of tax benefit maybe, or reduction among their ratepayers because of that.
Oh, cool.
So, but.
Yeah, I was at a meeting and Wayne Clark was talking about how much water they used.
What's a lot?
A lot. He says more than the data centers, but he said. He uses more water than data centers, so that's
Mm,
really, or depends on the data center, of course.
yeah.
So should we put recreation here in it too, recreation?
yes.
Sports, soccer fields, football fields,
Mhm.
baseball fields, golf courses. Which
That could be at schools
Schools.
and or.
Oh,
Parks and
absolutely,
Rec.
the schools, yeah.
schools, so.
A lot of those are on well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Washington the only one that has a turf football field though? Is
Yeah,
Washington?
Jefferson.
does
Jefferson has
too.
turf also? Okay.
Mhm.
But none of the middle schools. They still rely on. I don't think so
I
either.
don't know.
And you're right, then I agree. A chart is probably the best way to better
think-
though.
Yeah, I think your chart is the best idea.
Yeah,
'cause
I
the-
think
The
so.
knowledge isn't there, but at least
We could start the, use the framework and.
it's a framework, it's a tool.
Yeah.
Can add a column if we need to.
Yeah.
Pass this down.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Than.
I just had a quick question based on something Margaret mentioned a few minutes ago. Is it worth raising the issue of how other development impacts the agriculture in this section? Because that seems to be, if most of our agriculture is rain dependent, it seems to be that actually what agriculture is most impacted by is the other development happening around the county. And do we have it anywhere in there that we raise that as a, something to address?
I agree with you, and I think what we're saying is the tone and my reading of the question is that it is, how does agricultural impact the groundwater levels? What
Yeah,
really, how
that's
do
what I
the
mean.
groundwater levels impact agriculture seem to be the bigger question.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
With the 3-year now drought.
Yeah.
3+.
Yeah,
It's almost like flipping the question that,
Right.
that
Right, right.
the county commission asked us, but I think that seems, based on what you said, it seems. to
I
be the
think
bigger
asking for
question.
clarification if they, because
Okay.
if we're trying to understand
Yeah.
the impacts on agriculture, shouldn't we understand what's impacting that first, essentially?
Yeah, that's kind of the question
Yeah.
that I have. Like, if agriculture is not really drawing a lot from our groundwater sources, but they're not able to access groundwater because of the development that we're allowing to happen elsewhere, we're still in a situation where we're not actually promoting and supporting agriculture as is stated is one of the
Mhm,
goals of
one of
the
the- mhm.
commission.
yeah, it seems like a good follow-up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's a natural, it's not an artificial extension, it's like a very natural part of that,
Mhm.
but it isn't precisely the language of what we were.
Right, it's
asked.
not
I
what they
think it's a-
asked, but it's
the-
like an inversion almost of
yeah,
what
yeah.
was asked.
I think that is conclusion, yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's also good to look at the West Virginia Conservation Agency and I'll take a peek at it and see if there's anything that was from the statewide level.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've got, we were looking at some of their water monitoring, water quality data from WVCA, and for places like Elks Run, they've got the best stuff. It's better than, it's more comprehensive sampling than DEP's records. So like Conservation Agency is doing great work there.
Okay, we have enough here for the preliminary
I think so.
review.
Simple question.
Uh-huh.
A simple question. We
ahead.
went through that, no, we went through that one pretty quick. That's.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was
And when you,
amazingly
We're just poor dirt farmers with no rain.
Uh,
And yeah, we're 100% dependent on Mother Nature.
and thank you for the table suggestion too, Than.
Yes, that was
Yep.
very helpful.
Okay. Shall we run on to Mark Kozar, July 15th? Presentation. I've been in touch with Mark a lot. He will come up. He's planning on coming up on the night before. And he is available for 3 o'clock, or if we wanted to think about promoting it through the county to have more attendance, we could do a 5 or 6 o'clock, because he's going to spend the night. He's also going to spend some time
Great.
at USGS at Leetown.
Or is that the regular meeting date? What's the
I'm
next
sorry.
regular meeting?
July 15th.
It is, 'cause it's
Yeah.
a regular meeting date. Okay.
Yes, regular meeting day. He had, it was hard for him to line it up. He would like whatever he presents, he needs to get it approved by his supervisors. He sent me some very interesting information on links and historical links in Jefferson County. You probably are very familiar with them, that I think would be great to put on the website and introduce them. He is going to update us on he really wants to do a predictive groundwater flow model. And he's always got his ear to the ground. A Rockingham wants to do something grid by grid. This county, he just asked me about Eastern Panhandle Regional Council. I know that Eddie is working with them about getting grants for doing a potential water study or updating the desktop study, the research analytics study, which was an
Mhm.
assessment.
Mhm.
If he could get a few counties, or if he can go county by county, he did mention something very interesting is that, even though they've had Doge and a lot of retirements, at this point in time, the USGS does not have a lot of projects in the pipeline.
Hmm.
So now it's time to get in, because they may be more amenable to putting more their partner money in. He's planning to work through this year and then go part-time, so we'll still have him around.
I'll believe it when I see it. I know this type. He's the emeritus overachiever.
What I would like is some thoughts about some questions, what you would like to, what would you like to hear?
Yeah.
So I can forward them to him. So what would you like him to cover?
One thing would be when we look at our question 1 and 2 kind of
Mhm.
technical guidance, how does that relate to the tools that could be developed with these different studies? I think it's easy for people to get lost
Mhm.
in the different spatial scales and the resolutions. What I would love to come out of that session with is more clarity on tool X, use Y,
Mhm.
and also how to avoid misusing tool X. You know,
And could that be,
guidance,
and
you
could that be
know?
applied for our GIS? And so could their system help our system better operate so we can make, so not just, our planners and,
Yeah.
and PC meetings, but, developer, landowners, they can understand their property better.
So you're asking about who's the audience for the tool for X for a
Tool.
specific tool.
Yeah.
I think of it like a model as a tool, but there are some tools that are too technical for folks to use. And let's be honest about it. I mean, I'm not going to ask a, county planner to be a mod flow expert. It doesn't sound like it's a good fit. And I wouldn't ask a resident to have to run models themselves. But I guess the way we could think about it is what's the interface or the sort of user experience.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I would love to see GIS department here integrated with whatever they produce.
Right.
As like the best.
I think we should invite GIS to come.
Yeah, Jessica,
Jessica Gorman.
Gorman, yeah, she'd be great.
I have to talk to Eddie and Lynn about how to promote it and what the parameters are for a public notice ahead of time. If you wanted to have, put it in the paper and say, hey, special meeting to Mark Kozar from USGS, be here to talk about water studies. And he's going to talk about federal, regional, state, and local. I mean, it's going to be that top down. And where does the county fit into? Because we want water studies, right? We want water studies, but how does this fit into the regional Appalachian Basin? It's not a bathtub. We know it's
Karst.
karst
Mhm.
and contiguous to other areas that
Mhm.
people are drawing on, like Berkeley County, Clark County. Um,
And we can promote this as hearing from literally one of the world's experts.
Yeah.
And certainly I think the leading expert of groundwater hydrology in this region,
Yeah.
hands down, so we should be clear about that. I mean, let's listen to that. We're very fortunate to have one of the experts
Absolutely.
in the world join us who has more expertise in this particular region. So, yeah.
And maybe an option for them to submit questions beforehand because it'll allow him to do some research and
Mhm.
we certainly don't we want to give him time to prepare. So if there's maybe an option to submit questions.
He has to be very careful about taking questions because put on the spot, like, what about this project right here?
Right.
What's that going to do? to
Well,
the
that's why I think
operation?
submitting
Yeah.
prior, I think he could give him
Okay.
that way the level of appropriateness.
He
For
would
the
not have to
question.
respond to every question.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get with Eddie tomorrow about that, because that should go out now.
So
And
then there's an open loop that should be settled. What time will that meeting be?
yes, that's, I think what I asked Eddie, because we do have the room is available. I've got to double check with Lynn to see if the room's available later that night. July 15th, Wednesday?
Well, let me make a motion right now then to move the July 15th meeting from 3 PM to 6 PM if the room is open.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
So my only request then, Mary, is as soon as you find out that it is open, let us know so I can adjust my calendar.
sure. Time, publication, questions. Very good. I think when we say, questions, submit your questions in advance, no later than a week ahead. He's very detailed oriented and he will have time to prepare.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No later than July 8th, close it,
Okay. Mhm.
midnight,
Close business July 8th.
close business July 8th.
Mhm.
Not all questions will be taken, but we'll try to accommodate the public's interest.
Mhm.
Okay. I think you'll have a lot of interest about what the current studies are. Just the lay of the land of what are the state and regional studies being promoted and what county, what are counties looking for their planning?
Off the record, he should probably be prepared for some data center questions. Answer those. Whether they're Obviously, generally as compared to detailed.
Yeah. I think he'll talk about that in a general term.
Yeah.
To be safe. Anything else on that? That's been a movable date, so I appreciate your patience while we get Mark here, because he had some conferences and some appointments he couldn't move, and then conferences came up. I think he went to I don't know if there was a large cars conference last month in Morgantown. There's USGS guys, so. Okay, the July date update progress to county commission, do we want to do that after? And the second meeting of July, I think?
We want to wait until after
Mark?
Mark?
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What would be the date of that?
We do the first meeting in August? Or should we wait until? What do you think? We could just present technical questions. But if we want to incorporate Mark's presentation, we might need a follow-up.
Just to put it all together, yeah.
Then maybe second or probably the first week of September,
Yeah, and to approve because we've already approved our response.
right?
I think the county commission would like to see us with a progress update as soon.
Yeah.
Let me just look at when the meeting dates here. You have a meeting, I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. We're meeting July 1st and 4th. Oops,
Have July 2nd,
I was thinking July 18th, it would be the day after him,
and yeah,
July
at
18th,
5 PM, or 5:30 or 6 PM is. what it
July
I will-
16th.
I will be out of town that day. If I'm
Okay.
there, I can't make that one.
Okay,
says.
August 6th.
Yeah, but that would be prior to us meeting following Mark's presentation. So that if there's anything we needed to revise, we wouldn't have a meeting prior. Unless we just want to present prior to Mark's presentation.
Why don't we call it draft responses? still up for possible revisions.
On what date are you talking? August 6th?
August sixth.
I think so. I think we need to get in front of the county commission on that and get feedback on where we are.
Make it clear that these aren't the final responses.
Yeah.
And we explained that Marcos gave us some food for thought, because that's the only thing that's gonna change it now,
Right.
which will happen with final responses in September, October.
Yes, you have to be updated. That sounds great.
Is that a morning or an evening, Kara?
Evening.
The first
morning.
is morning, yeah. The first meeting of the month is the 9
9
AM. So it'll probably be somewhere between.
I just go, so August will, and then later in August, we'll meet, our August meeting, we'll do the final review of technical question 3 and review technical question 4. September is final review of technical 4 and wrap up. And October is a review and finalize technical questions response presentation to the county commission.
County Commission
Hmm.
to submit final report. Either October.
It would be October 1st or 15th. And we meet on the 21st.
So it would have to be.
And that would have to be in the county commission by, submitted to the county commission by the 29th of October.
Or 24th? What day would we meet in October?
We meet on October 21st,
Okay.
but the presentation for county for the 3-day Open Meetings Act would have to be there by October 29th in order to be, oh, I'm sorry.
So that's a week to finalize it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
week to finalize.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone okay with it? Margaret, you've got all that moving around?
That was a lot of moving around.
Good thing it's taped.
Yes. See where you landed.
You're doing great, Madam Secretary.
Mhm.
Okay. Are we ready to move on to the information sharing request review developments, commercial including data centers? I'm sorry, I've been under the weather, but everybody ready to dive into this? So Than has provided we talked about asking the county commission, providing them a draft memorandum and a draft letter for the county commission to write to the Department of Commerce, asking for information on water usage for data centers. And Dan was not here last week, and we went through it, and I took up the pen and I sent it around, and I marked it up and really took a knife to it.
Did you
So,
send this around before the meeting?
Yeah, let me, why don't we
Is it
read
this one
yours?
right
and-
here? Did you
Yeah.
send that in an email?
Yeah, I sent it around in an email.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I apologize, really been on it.
And-
So, let me just review what we talked about last week, last month. We talked about the concern of citizens for not having the data and local control, and that citizens needed the data or wanted the data so they could be planning the process. And I spoke about what I saw, what the legislature had done was that the state had said the Department of Commerce has the information and it's proprietary. And it's up to the Department of Commerce or developer to share with it. And I thought that a better, my thought approach was, in which I took up the pen, was that we stand ready when when data centers come, to be able to help to give technical studies and expertise for the county commission to come to us and say, if their data center wants to be in X, Y, and Z, and this is what the water, versus asking for it, having it come to us. One reason I said that is because, and I have talked to some legislators, the state was pretty clear in the legislature that this is a state, that the state has, and the Department of Commerce has the reins on this. I've sent it around and I don't know if you've seen it. It's the HIDC certification process. Build a high impact data center in West Virginia. I don't believe that there has been a application to the Department of Commerce that I'm aware of. We talked about Chris Moore saying he wanted to be more open and proactive. I've also looked at Commissioner Keys brought up, and you brought up that Jefferson County is different because we have zoning. I've also sent around the zoning map, and I think if you look at the land use comprehensive plan, there's only 3 or 4 sites where a data center could be sited. Is that-
Not necessarily. So in our 2045 comprehensive plan, sorry, I need to move this closer. I've been meetings. In the 2045 comprehensive plan, we did talk about data centers, which wasn't, there wasn't really a lot of pushback from the community in what we had proposed and had approved in the comprehensive plan. In the sense that we said we wanted to consider data center operations in industrial zoned properties. Now, you're right in the sense that the current zoning map has only so many properties that are zoned industrial, but that doesn't leave for upzoning.
Right. Through
So
through
through
a-
process.
a process.
Through a process, but the process is open to the public. It's transparent and it allows for citizens to weigh in. And those are very accountable steps that are methodical that follow our comprehensive plan, air zoning map, but then your feet to the fire, which is the folks that you serve and represent. So, that was approved. That's something I support. But to say that we only have 3 sites is just currently. But there's the potential. So if you're in an area that has changed over the past 5 years and there's now large industrial users in one area and there's now a farm next to it, the methodology or the thought process would be that could be a potential upzonable area. That would be a staggered planning decision by the county at a future date. So we're not.
So it
limited
would be
to-
transparent. You
it
would
would-
have the information.
we would have the information. There would be so the process for upzoning would be by both the planning commission, the county commission. They'd hold a public hearing on both the county commission and the planning commission. It would be, the public would know about it. They would have a public input process to speak on that upzoning, and then it would be ultimately decided from both the planning commission and the county commission. So it's definitely, and as an example, there are other counties in other states that have had either a moratorium over data centers while they figure out they've had overlay areas where they've actually put all these data centers like Frederick County, Maryland in one area around Adamstown, Maryland. And so there's a lot of approaches to that, but that was an industrial zoned area essentially. But that was something that the county commission approved. But the problem I have with the data centers in relation to water, not just quality, but quantity is, if we're trying to understand our water usage, but we have potential development coming in where we have blinders on, how can we make an educated decision? So I know it's not codified that they have to give that to us, but I think it's my duty to ask the question anyway. And I think it's something that a fair question. And I think the developers who are good neighbors will be happy to answer it. Even if the law doesn't require them to, I think that's something that they will be happy to answer, just their water usage, what their expectations are, so that we can plan. So if there's, as an example, if a data center comes in on X parcel and Y parcel next door is hoping to do 400 townhomes, or it's going to be a well-use property, they need to understand how this property will impact them. And it's a it's a technical process. It's not a political process, but I think it does impact our planning and understanding if we have blinders on for one type of development. And we can't pretend that the elephant in the room isn't there.
I think that the way it works is you file with the Department of Commerce, and the Department of Commerce has 14 days when you have an application. So what point in the process does you ask the Department of Commerce to give us the information when they're fast tracking a permit? I mean,
So we're not codified to control the approval. We're just, I think it could be after the 14-day approval, us understanding what their intentions and what their water use will be.
so that would be fast tracked, it would be approved, and it would be signed by the governor, and then you would ask for the information.
Well, we wouldn't even know it exists until it's approved.
Right.
So it would be after the fact. We wouldn't, because it's not
That's what I
transparent.
just want a point of clarity, that
Yeah.
we're not asking the Department of Commerce, oh, you have something pending or.
Oh, no,
some-
we
yeah.
have no control.
Yeah.
And it's, it's something the public needs to understand is we find out as commissioners, we find out when everybody else does, because this is, a centralized, big government decision. So, that's what we're left with. But I think it's a fair question to ask for planning purposes for other parcels.
Just a process point, we got to be careful when we use the term "we." In this room, in this space, this is
Sorry.
the Water Advisory Committee.
We as a.
Yeah. And so the question on the table here, I want to understand your revised
Mhm.
memo and just understand what it would do and what it wouldn't do. But my thinking is it's the role of this body. So there's two questions that come to my mind. First question is it within our scope? Is it really like our purview to even be commenting on this? And then question two is, okay, well, what is the right thing? What is the appropriate request? So, on question one, I think it's very clear this is within our scope. And when we think about data uncertainties and understanding water data and resources and water security in the county. So I feel very comfortable with that. On question two, what should we do then? I think it's appropriate for us to request the county commission move in this direction. But I don't care how we get there. If it's truly, that's what I think is necessary because, so for example, it's not just water use that's sets data centers apart. And the uncertainty is massive. And I don't think it needs to be that way. Groundwater protection plans are required for all sorts of industries across, you name it, except data centers are exempt from that. But
Only in West Virginia.
in West Virginia,
At the rest of the country.
that's a great
They
point.
still they don't pick winners and losers
Right.
with industrial development.
So my thinking is that it's within our scope and it's a reasonable request for us to approach the county commission with this. But let me understand the revised memo. What would this do? What would this compel? What would this request from the county?
It's not a request for the county. It's to
Okay.
tell the county we're ready to help
Okay.
them cite, but let me just back up. It's not only water use, it's water availability. So when we talk about water use, we're talking about data center use. This was, and I wanted to be careful to say it wasn't just about data centers. It was about a hospital, commercial. It was all that, but for the Department of Commerce, I just thought what it would do is we're asking the county commission to vote on a letter for them to write to the Department of Commerce and say, once a data center is approved, I wasn't aware of how this was going to come in. Once it's approved, we'd like to work with you. That's a different animal than what I had anticipated that we were working on. So that's the point of clarification.
So you
I thought
thought
you were
we were
like-
trying to interject?
Yeah, interject before, when it's filed, we want the information.
No, I think no, and that's
Yeah.
fair. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, no, it's once we have some approval, we want to immediately, I think we can learn a lot from Berkeley County with their announcement is it left a lot of unanswered questions for the residents.
Whoops.
And then it impacted, I think it bolstered unanswered questions, and then the community assumed the worst. So if we ask for some clarity from the start, I think that will hopefully help reduce fear. And hopefully it will reduce community concern and uproar. So, you know,
I think there's something in the middle here.
yes,
I think Sam was
absolutely.
more than I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
He was, yeah, I mean, I think there's a middle path here.
Yeah, I mean, I would, for me, and I'm not the water expert, but I would want to know, where is the water source coming from? How much water do they project to pull per day?
Mm.
And
What's the
may,
availability?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those
What's
are
the
probably,
impact?
yes, exactly. And those are not just questions about that parcel, but
It's
it impacts,
contiguous.
it's contiguous to other properties.
So I can chime in. We know that part of the site certification process that goes to the Department of Commerce includes those two pieces of information, water source and peak demand. Now, we also have to be careful, and I think the original draft that I produced, I thought it, was reasonable in recognizing that there is some proprietary information here that, these companies are competing against each other. They can't disclose everything, but those two pieces of information, the stack of proprietary information is this high. The pieces that we're requesting are this high, right? The basics. And so we want to respect that there is a level of proprietary, you don't want to disclose everything, but those two fundamental pieces, I believe those could go a long way to allaying public concern and providing reasonable assurances for communities. I think in the case of Berkeley County, the developers there would be really smart if they would disclose this basic information to the public. Now, that said, we can't force that. But I just think the question for us today on the table is it appropriate for us? Is it reasonable for a data transparency perspective for us to request this action on behalf of the commission? That's really where, from a data science, data transparency perspective, that's my main focus.
Okay. Is there a threshold you would ask for? Like, let's say the hospital comes in. The hospital's going to use more than the data center.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we ask the hospital the same thing? I just want to make sure we're not.
Interestingly,
like, sticking or like being anti-development, like.
Aren't those two different questions? So wouldn't ask the hospital.
No, but you would.
Right.
And wouldn't
Yeah.
that information be public?
Yeah, the hospital would be public.
So
Yes, we
that's a
already have
beautiful
that.
distinction because with this exception, everything else, there's access to public
JCPA
information.
Has things that aren't public.
So
right?
this closes the
NDA.
gap, I think. This is just attempts to have a level playing field for all folks that want to be large quantity users in the context of industrial development.
Okay.
But it's a good point, but it's worth noting that any other large industrial user would be
Any large quantity user has to-
transparent. Yeah.
There's annual reporting that has to be done, right? And
That's correct. There is an annual report process. It's not a cap. It doesn't restrict extraction, but it does have an annual report out. But in terms of, for example, the groundwater protection plans that include information about, these are developed pre-development, right? This is part of for any other industrial development. Data centers are excluded from that, from House Bill 2014, but we would, as sort of a scientific body or a public body of any sort, we would have a world more information about every other industrial development. And it doesn't seem like it makes any sense to exclude this one. So I think
Is
this,
there a threshold that you would ask for? What if it's 50,000 gallons a day? What if it's gray water?
I don't think it's our purview to demand. I think it's our purview to get information because that's what this body is. We're
Okay.
not a political body. We're an information body. So I think-
And I would not ask for it as a threshold
Mhm.
because it's just the information that's hidden behind the curtain
Okay.
Right.
versus the information that's public.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the Water Advisory Committee, that's not our purpose, but I think of course, that could be something on the county commission we could ask, but not this body. But I think the information is key, especially if we're looking at, a potential water study and if we're missing a huge data point, how do we make yeah.
Ladies?
Yeah, agreed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, good. Thank you for letting me be the contrarian. Can we clarify then? Can we clarify that this would be after it was certified?
I think that would be a fine edit.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
okay with that.
Okay.
I think it was just a
Huh?
miscommunication.
How about upon availability versus after certification?
Um, unavailability, I think,
Why lock in after versus?
Well, it's a process that the public doesn't have access
Yeah.
to.
It's a
Yeah.
difference without a distinction. I get it.
yeah, and they probably wouldn't even tell us until after it's certified, that 14-day. We wouldn't even be public knowledge, so I don't think they would, in theory, tell us. I mean, they could, but I don't think they
So I guess
would.
all I'm saying is, well, the distinction, the 14-day distinction doesn't mean it can come before. It's not likely
Oh,
to,
no.
but it could come before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think there should be like, well, maybe a little bit of like, when you have it, that helps us plan.
yes. It's
So
for
re-
informational purposes
purposes,
only.
like-
Yeah,
Not whereas, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
say that, but it's not gonna be used just for informational purposes.
It's gonna be, it's
well, in
gonna
this
be,
committee it will.
On this
you know?
committee, will correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's,
all good. So I did take a knife to it.
That's okay. It was a different approach. That's fine. So if we go back to version 1, I
Mhm.
could add, I could edit this with a simple minor amendment that would clarify that this is essentially a letter from the president of the
Yeah,
county
The
commission.
county commission would have to vote on it and approve for it to be sent.
Exactly, but our amendment, minor amendment would be to clarify that this request to commerce generally would be expected after the certification.
Mhm. I'm really happy with that.
Okay.
That's what I was worried about, is that it would be before the certification.
Okay,
So,
I'd be happy to
and
make
I
that
thought
amendment.
we were, might be getting a little bit into a deeper part of the pool,
oh, no,
which we,
we don't have to
But-
do that.
informational
Well,
purposes.
what the county commission does with
I
our
mean, yeah.
request is not up to us, of
Yeah.
course. It's up
And
to
of course,
one.
yeah,
of
I
us, but-
understand. You are elected and you report to the residents that want to know.
Yeah,
And so we're going to make an effort to find out if it gets certified here. We're going to make an effort
Yeah.
to find out so we can plan and
right.
be
And,
responsible.
right. Yeah, I think we all,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm very happy with that.
Okay, well then let me make a motion to approve the version 1 letter to memo to the county commission and draft letter on behalf of the county commission
Commission.
with the edit
Right.
of an additional sentence stating that we would expect this correspondence after the certification process.
Second.
And yeah, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Whew.
I appreciate both of you. It was good. It was a good question and I understand why you seemed a little freaked out, to be honest. No, I get it. I didn't understand before. Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah. Okay.
It's, you gotta be careful, hot button issues, guys.
I just wanted us not to, yeah, it was good. I'm glad we have a meeting of the minds. Website development. Oh, we need a website. Because posting, and I'm sorry I got this up like that. I've been really under the weather, but getting a packet out is, Lynn? My good friend Lynn, when I post it, when I send the packet to you, can I add things to it? Like sometimes when I send it, it's just the public notice, but I don't have a landing page. Can I ask you? Can we ask her, since she's my go-to on if I package everything together? Can it be one PDF or? Tell me. Mhm.
And the minutes maybe?
Yeah. Okay, because when I've tried that in the past, it's just been the agenda, so. So yes, if you can, yeah. And I try to get it to you on Thursday, and I try to ask everyone by Wednesday. Because she sends it out by Friday, close of business, but I like to get it to her early, just in case she's wonderful, but don't want to push my luck. So, okay. Oh, let me see if you have on your website, Mark Kozar sent some really cool things. Well, not really cool, but he called me the other day. He's such a technical person, about the drought monitor, and he looked at some of the things in the county, which I think is going to be so much fun for, not fun, scary for the educational purposes of the historical data. And that, then you probably climate, the US drought portal, and you can drill down right to VA. It was,
Here it is. This is the
Mhm.
West Virginia Drought Monitor page.
yeah, and he's got one that's
There's-
historical. It goes back to like the 1800s, and
Oh,
we
okay,
have
cool.
been like
Hmm.
in minus, or the one he sent me went back to 1800s. We've been minus for years, for Jefferson County.
Really?
Yes.
We've got a multi-year challenge here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it, how many?
Let's see if I can,
This is from 2000, this is a time series from 2000. This is the last 27 years,
right.
but historical stuff. And this accounts for soil moisture as well as groundwater levels. There's a model that accounts for various pieces of the puzzle, but soil moisture is the big one.
Right.
Comes into this.
I think this would be great to have on the website and have someone explain. This is the soil moisture.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
That plus the USGS groundwater level gauges, I would say, not just in Jefferson County, but if we look south, Clark County has gauges that are informative because we're in the same, we're all sipping from the same cup.
And theirs is a little bit more predictable because their rate of development and their population growth have been very stagnant over the past 35 years. They have a very tight lid on their zoning regulations. So they've really, it's kind of interesting to see probably what their 30-year model would be compared to ours or Berkeley County. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
um,
Hmm.
it'd be an interesting comparative.
Like my. Boy, this is, yeah, I was going to VA and West Virginia groundwater levels and trends. Let's see if I can get it up here. In our area. And he's got the station. I mean, this is the type I think it would be for when we were getting seated, the information that would be good for the public to see in one spot. So I will send that around and play with that, but it would be great to get that site. And also maybe have a little tutorial how to use. And I think that could be something we can think about when Mark Kozar comes and say, this is gonna be on the website, here's the model, you can check it. Here's the area, here's the groundwater levels, here's the rainfall. I think the people are gonna really wanna know that. Okay, any other old business? Go to new business? I just wanted to put out there that Riley Moore asked funding for some counties, federal funding, you probably know this, for some of the counties, and he showed up on the House floor federally with water from taps. In Mingo and other counties, it was just black, and asked for money, which did not get on the appropriations. And the, it did not get on the, he asked for it on the floor. And Appropriations Committee said, well, you didn't get it on this one subcommittee. And he said, well, I tried to put it on the subcommittee, but the chairman wouldn't let me. So that's kind of a red herring. And then also that Governor Morrissey has announced a number of large funding in water and wastewater and public water facilities. So that, I think that doesn't really affect this county. Sandy, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. It's more the counties that are really struggling with potable water versus this county that has public service districts and
There's an intended use plan that was just produced for all water providers, municipal water providers in the state, and we're reviewing that right now. But the main thing we're seeing is that, and if you're south of I-64, odds are you're not funded. There's a chronic underfunding in southern West Virginia counties, and partly it's the equation that's used to generate priorities.
population.
Yeah. And so, it makes some sense, like the biggest benefit for the most people per dollar, it goes to Parkersburg. And that's where the bias has been. So there's hopefully some creative thinking about how to see more equity across the state, but I don't think that really the Eastern Panhandle is a big player there. But Travis might disagree. I don't know, other folks at CTUB might have a different view.
Mhm.
Well, I sort of keep my eye on that a little bit, but
Very sad that it's happening and it's impacting and that they don't have the funding, but
It makes
It
me, makes me actually more grateful for the resources that we have in this place. And it's
yeah, we think our,
tragic what's happening elsewhere. I mean, we have it tough, but other people have it worse.
Worse.
Put it that way,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
all right, anything else for the good of the order?
Just one thing real quick. I've got, this is the groundwater well monitoring, real-time monitoring well for Rocky Marsh Run. So this is relevant because all
Oh,
of this
okay, we're talking
groundwater
about-
comes up south to north as our groundwater flow path, as Mark is showing us. That red line shows us the current condition, and those bars show us that normal condition.
Mm.
That triangle is the long-term median, and we're significantly below that. We're in fact we are less than the fifth percentile of historic groundwater levels, meaning that over 95% of the prior observations, we had more groundwater in the system.
How many years?
At this point? Oh,
Or
geez, good question. There's probably.
It's like comparative.
No, it's over time. Every site's different. This one has data. I don't know, it's probably 30 years of data.
Okay.
I know a certain farmer that's hauling water for his cattle.
And the past 30 years, our population's doubled, right?
I don't know
So
who that
Yep.
is.
Yep.
You don't know who that is?
No.
Colin Stein is on that Rocky Marsh
Okay.
with a perennial spring.
Well, he's on Rattlesnake Run.
Oh, no, he's on Rattlesnake, that's right.
But it's connected in terms of the big float. There's a
Right.
thrust fault that does, I
Yeah.
think, connect.
He has a perennial spring,
mhm.
which means it's perennial. And he has noticed that it goes dry quicker and quicker every year.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, this was a really good meeting. Thank you for entertaining, thank you for your patience with my pushback.
Oh, no, it's all good. I'll just, one last thing for the record. It's July 1st is my last day on the committee, so we want to thank everybody for their time and attention. The county commission appointed me to July 1st, 2026, and time flies when you're having fun. But I'll be around, and I'd like to stay in touch. And there'll be another opportunity for some representative of the public to step up, and there are many, many qualified people. And I will look forward to trying to pitch in however I can down the line.
If there's someone you can recommend or encourage.
I have some ideas.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some ideas of good people, technically minded, but well versed in science, and they know that they're practical too.
I would, I want to thank you for all your contributions. I'm sorry to see you go, but
Yeah.
you're not going to be a stranger because we're going to be calling you.
Yeah.
And I would hope you would help us frame some questions for Mark Kozak.
I'd be happy to. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, you know where to find me, but this is great stuff. And I know this committee's been sort of on ice for a bunch of years, so
Lord.
it takes time to get back in the groove. I think we're making good progress, and everybody brings a different perspective, which is great. So yeah, it's time well spent. But looking at my, I'm not going to complain to y'all busy. Everybody's busy, but I just have realized that I think I've contributed a small piece, what I could contribute up to, that's something. But my inbox is just like overflowing, so it's time to move on.
We would have had cake.
Well, no.
Well,
I mean, I take a nice clean glass of fresh, cold water.
Well, thank you, Fan. We really appreciate it. You've been a great, it's been really, this has been, for me, I've been on Water Advisory Committee since 2011.
Mhm.
I'm now dating myself. And for a long time, it was like, there wasn't all this help from the county commission, but it was also, it's like, we sort of flew by the seat of our pants. If we wanted to talk, I mean, the open meeting act is all good, but it was like, let's get together. It's, there wasn't, I love that there's structure.
Mhm.
I'm learning to work around the structure. Thank you. And on, straight and narrow, but for me, it's been wonderful to work with you. Appreciate your contributions and everyone and that you've worked with us. So we won't let you be a stranger, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you
Plus,
have one more, you have one
Plus, we
more
could
homework.
if we want to, because
Huh?
it's a public meeting.
Yeah. You have a couple homework assignments before you. go,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
We'll
I
hold
will.
you to it. I hope you'll come to the Marcos.
If I'm in town, there's some uncertainty there, but if I'm here, I'll be here.
Okay, good.
You
Awesome.
bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're in good hands I mean, you couldn't do any better. I've said that.
Oh, he's
but-
great. I really enjoyed working with him. He has kept me on this, he's just a great source, as is Bob Denton
Heck, yeah.
too, for both of us. We're lucky to have those two really great people and everyone else's talent as well.
Mhm.
So let me, if there's no other, I have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
My voice got better as I got moving.
Thank
I know. Lynn, thank you.
you, Lynn.
Good luck to your son. When is he gonna hit US soil? Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Wow.
And your daughter, where's she gonna be stationed?
Oh, she's not, she's going to school.
So just finished her first year, right?
Just finished her first year, finished her